This is Sheriff Spotlight with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, highlighting the office and deputies dedicated to providing law enforcement services and maintaining the trust and support of Rockingham County citizens, all while keeping neighborhoods and communities safe.
Welcome back to another edition of Sheriff's Spotlight here in Rockingham County, North Carolina. This is October of 2023 edition of Sheriff Spotlight, and in the studio with me here today is Sheriff Sam Page. I'm your host, Lieutenant Kevin Souther, Public Information Officer. Sheriff, good morning to you. I know that we have a lot going on here in the county. We're just going to jump right in here
festivals
this morning.
We've got festivals.
Festivals. We're coming up on parade season. I want to get to all of that here directly, but first and foremost, I want to talk about, because we get so many questions, and I feel like it's such an important topic, and it's had such an impact on people's lives here in Rockingham County and across the nation. I want to talk about the opioid and fentanyl crisis here in America and the impacts that it's having here in Rockingham County. I want to go over, let the people know what we're doing about it as law enforcement and first responders here in Rockingham County, North Carolina, and what we're seeing, what we're facing, and how we're combating the issue.
Okay. Well, probably one of the biggest public health crises we're seeing today in North Carolina and across the country is fentanyl. Mm-hmm. More people are dying due to fentanyl poisoning across the United States. The Mexican drug cartels are continuing to take the chemicals that they get from China, producing the either liquid, powder, or pill form fentanyl, and shipping that into the United States. So persons either with addictions can access those drugs, and that subsequently they're taking a lot of lives. And I think it's 2021, about 108,000 people died in America due to overdoses, and about 70 to 80% were attributed to fentanyl. So it's a very dangerous drug. It's many more
very addictive drug.
Well, very addictive. Well, that's the key. That's the key. It's very addictive, and it's many more times powerful than heroin, and many more times powerful than methadone. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, persons have switched to, and they're taking risks and taking chances by buying drugs because it can be put in any form of drug, liquid, powder, or pill. And so anyway, we're losing a lot of people. In North Carolina, we lose 12 people a day due to overdoses. Subsequently, it ended up being more likely fentanyl overdoses or fentanyl poisoning. Mm-hmm. We use the term poisoning because, you know, when someone produces a product that they know will kill you, that's intentional, and so that's a poisoning, and it's murder.
Exactly.
And I've never seen a drug where a producer tries to eliminate their customer base. But I guess they figure because it's so addictive that they'll find others. Now, where does it come from? Produced in China, the chemicals sent to Mexico, recombined and produced, and then shipped into the United States. I think they say that the drug business in Mexico with the cartel is a multi-billion-dollar business, so it's a lot of money in it. So what are we doing here? What can we do here in our state? What can we do here locally? Well, you know, I approached the Attorney General back in, I think it was March or April last year, trying to do some town halls like I saw in Guilford County, trying to do this in all the school districts. So I was approaching about considering that and talking with the Education Secretary for the state about considering doing that. In the meantime, time passed, we decided to reach out to the faith community, and you and myself and some others, working with the pastors in some of the churches in the county, we started doing town halls and educating kids from the middle school, high school kids, and potentially college kids about the dangers of fentanyl through a PowerPoint, listening to family members who lost family members due to fentanyl poisoning. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, there's a video out, and you can pull it up on YouTube. It's called Dead on Arrival. And so it's a very good video. It's 22 minutes, and it talks about 4 people's families' lives that were changed due to fentanyl poisoning, where they lost somebody. Mm-hmm. So we're doing the town halls, and we're reaching out. In Rockingham County, we also have an opioid task force, which is made up of multiple disciplinary groups, public health, law enforcement, educators, faith community, multiple people, business community, but as many people involved, because the opioid issues are not going away anytime soon, and we're trying to combine our efforts to try to break the cycle and help people that have the addiction to try to get them off the drugs where they can get their lives back in order. But it's a long-term issue. And but our health director, Trey Wright, is doing a great job. We're in the process, we're looking for another coordinator to coordinate the group, but we're trying to keep this information out front to the public so we can help to reduce the chance of somebody getting addicted to fentanyl or worse, dying.
Exactly. And you know, one of the things that we bring up at these town hall style meetings, both at the churches and in the parents of school age kids and stuff like that, we try to target the middle school and above kids and their parents and grandparents, because it's an educational deal to it. Just like you said, it comes in powder, pill, and liquid form. And what I don't think a lot of people understand is that it can come in anything. I mean, we've heard tell of vapes. Vapes are popular amongst middle school and up. And
powder, pill, or liquid form. And vapes, liquid form, yes.
We've heard tell of fentanyl in vapes. We've heard tell of fentanyl, marijuana being soaked in fentanyl.
Other drugs, yeah.
All kinds of stuff. You know, they may think, I know in the college age kids, they say that Adderall is a popular pill, and to help them study and stay up and stuff, but you don't know what you're getting.
Exactly. If you have, you know, this week we've been talking to 8th grade kids in our county, part of Project Safe. We've been meeting with the kids in our courtroom, talking with the kids and trying to give them some tips about where they can get in a bind, get in trouble. We're trying to prevent that, prevention through education. And we talk about those issues, but I told them about vapes. Well, vapes are one of the biggest problems we're seeing in our schools, where kids are bringing vapes to school. And the thing is, don't bring. It's a violation of policy. You could be violating the law, and also if you get a substance in there you don't know what it is and you try it, it could take your life. And the other thing is pills. I told them this every morning this week that we've met. I've told these kids is that do not take pills or medications from anybody other than those that are prescribed to you through your doctor, your pharmacist, and coming either from your family, your parents, or from a school nurse. You get a headache, go to the school nurse. But do not take any medications and assume it is the drug, because somewhere somebody could have a counterfeit drug. They say that 6 out of 10 pills that come through Mexico that come into the United States are loaded with fentanyl.
You're risking your life on a drug dealer's greed when you take a pill that you didn't get from a
Well, here's another. I'm gonna jump to another issue that of concern is, you know, just recently, you know, we saw last week where in Israel, where Hamas coming out of Gaza, attacking Israel and stuff like this, it creates a lot of concerns in our communities. Safety. There was a call for a jihad and a day of anger by Hezbollah, these other terrorist organizations, and people say, well, how can that affect us? Well, you know, here's what I tell the public is you've got people that don't like the United States all around the world, and you've got a lot of people that do like the United States. But with these certain groups, you've got issues in Ukraine and Russia, you got issues in China and Taiwan, and now you got issues in Israel, where Israel's dealing with Hamas and any other terrorist groups that surround them. But here's the thing. Our southern border, and we've talked about this before, our southern border is so open, and 1.5 million people, my understanding, have been able to gotaways, have come into the United States undetected into the United States to wherever they've gone, and we don't know. But we do know this, out of 6 million plus people that have come to our borders, they represent over 150 countries, including some of the countries that are not friendly to America. So, you know, besides we're worrying about the issues with fentanyl and dangers there, now in America we also have to pay attention to the international concern and how terrorism can affect us even here in America. It already affected us 9/11.
Yeah.
And what my concern is we need to better amp up our protection at our borders and all of our ports of entry and vet people better who are coming into our country to make sure, because we owe that. Our obligation in America is to protect our citizens. And we want to make sure that we do that in our communities, and we hope that our federal government will do the same thing to protect starting at our borders, because you don't know. We very well could have another 9/11 if we're not vigilant and paying attention.
And it's my understanding that the Border Patrol has apprehended a number of people on the terrorist watch list
This year alone.
that has come through the border illegally.
Right.
But those are the people that they've caught.
This is the ones they know. This year alone, I think they reported about 150 plus persons that have been detained that have come to the border that are persons of interest dealing with the terrorist concerns. But what should concern everybody is out of 1.5 million persons that have got away
that they've seen but weren't able to apprehend.
Exactly.
And that's not even counting the ones that they didn't see
Right.
that got in.
So the thing about it is here's the thing, and this was said many years ago under the Obama administration: if you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. See something in your community that is of concern, because it was what less than a year ago that someone did some damage to some power units in Moore County,
right?
And 40,000 people were out power. Well, that better wake some people up, okay? And we just came out of a COVID conversation. Look at all the supply chain issues and stuff. Now things are getting better than it was. We still have to, on some electronics, we have to wait. But think about when we had the shutdowns and the concerns we had then and stuff like that. Prepare. Like I said, we're getting ready to come going into the winter season, right? And with the winter season, what you should anticipate when you get into winter, we're going to have possibly some power outages and stuff because of weather, particularly rain, sleet, snow, and just prepare for those things. That's just staying ahead of the curve.
And it's good to prepare for anything and everything, and we see this kind of stuff in law enforcement. And I've been in the field for 27 years. You've been in the field for
a long time,
much longer than that. And it seems like when something bad happens to a community or to an individual, the one thing that everybody, and that's not just unique to Rockingham County, but it seems like everywhere, the one thing that they all have in common is surprise. Surprised that it could happen to them. Surprised that it could happen here.
Well, here's one thing.
Because nobody ever thinks that it could.
Exactly. A lot of people think it can't happen to me.
It cannot happen to me.
It can't happen here.
Exactly.
But you know what? It can happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I say we need in America and in our county, in our state, we need to be vigilant what's going on. And if we see something, say something. Let somebody know. That's what we tell our kids. And if you're at school and you want to maintain and keep a safe school, you're the first line of defense in protecting the school. If you see something, let a teacher know. Let your school resource officer know. Let somebody know so we can deal with the situation.
Yeah, our hope is to, whenever anything bad is afoot, that we can stop it before it happens, not deal with it after it happens.
Absolutely.
Being proactive instead of reactive is always better.
Well, you've got something from
right. I was fixing to say, let's move on from the hard stuff to some more upbeat, good news.
What did we do at the college? What was the program at the college, Envision? What was
that? The Envision Rockingham County Youth Career Expo was a really cool deal, really big turnout. It was all of the schools in Rockingham County, all of the 7th graders and all of the 10th graders over the course of a 2-day period came to Rockingham Community College. There were, dozens and dozens of vendors, including the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office and a number of different public safety.
Right, a lot of public safety was out there.
Organizations were out there, and it's just basically to present them with potential career choices for them moving forward. Something that may interest them. We were there to answer questions. Give out brochures, do this, that, and the other. And maybe if they had an interest in it, maybe point them toward that field, or maybe if they didn't have an interest or didn't know what they were looking for, then, maybe they would find an interest in something that we had available. There was a little bit of everything there. But I can say that, I knew that it was every 7th grade in the county and every 10th grade class in the county. But
Well, think about
My
it.
goodness, it just seemed like so, and I've been to events like that before, but it seemed like so many kids had so much interest in what was going on. It was great.
When you were in high school or when you was in middle school, you didn't get to see anything like that, did you?
Right now, huh?
So I think it's kind of neat. I'm still fascinated with the Duke Energy,
Right.
where they planted those power poles, low in height, but showed how they work on the different electrical circuits and stuff like that. It's pretty educational. And then
D.H. Griffin had several large
wrecking vehicles.
Yeah, exactly, out there, and we're letting the kids get up in them and look at them and stuff like that. So.
Inside, we had a lot of businesses. I was talking to the guys that work in the machining shops. I ran some guys at time with Ruger because
Right.
they work and build those firearms and stuff here. Mm-hmm. And there were some other businesses that were around, but I was just pretty fascinated with talking with the businesses, kind of what's going on. Now, what I was curious about was when I talked to some of the businesses, how is their manpower? Because, a lot of people across America and across the state are having shortages of manpower. I just saw on the news where in Forsyth County, in the detention center, they're about 101 short on detention officers. There were 50 last year this time, and now they're down to, up to 100. So they're having some meetings and talking about pay and stuff like this to try to encourage people who want to come to work. But back to Envision, I think it's great that kids get to kind of see the opportunities that are out there, because not everybody will go to college, and not everybody will go to the military. Some kids will go directly into the workforce. Mm-hmm. And at the college, they're building the workforce center.
Right.
Where they can train,
currently under construction,
train the citizens here and the young people for opportunities in the future in Rockingham County. So we have a ready workforce here in the county. So when these industries come in, these businesses come in, they got some people that are prepared to work.
Exactly, and there's some great
jobs out there. I thought it was great. But is this the first time they've done this?
The very first time. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time, based on the turnout and the mm-hmm. interest in it. Like I said, I was amazed by the kids and the students, their interest in the various vendors that were there. We had a ton of kids come up asking a bunch of great questions about law enforcement and the sheriff's office and what we did and how I liked it. And,
I know a bunch of kids got in the BLET, the basic law enforcement training.
Right.
They got in the car.
Right.
I didn't know you get that many kids in a car.
Right.
Dodge Charger was full.
They got to see all of that stuff, some of the gear that we use, and just there was a lot of interest in it. So hopefully that'll spark, that interest, that spark of interest will stay there, and as they get a little bit older, maybe they'll choose a career path in law enforcement or first responders or any of these places.
Well, what our school system is doing, what our college is doing, what we're doing in our communities and public safety and so many people, is we're trying to expose our kids here to some good things and good knowledge. Like I said, this week with Project Safe, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a Safe Streets initiative to reduce violence in our communities. We're talking to all the 8th grade students across the county over the past few days, and we got one more group here after lunch that I'm going to be speaking at, and the district attorney Jason Ramey's there, and mm-hmm. others, probation, school resource officers from the respective schools, their school staff there, but all the kids, and we're talking about things that can get you in a bind,
right?
But also
make good decisions. Focus on making good decisions.
That's the key. You're focused on making good decisions and staying away from those areas, because we want to prevent through education.
Right. Like you said, our goal is to never have it happen at all.
Exactly.
Not to have to deal with it after it has happened.
There you go.
So,
we want to save lives, and I told the kids, we want to see you educated and productive citizens throughout your life.
Right. Now, as you mentioned earlier, bringing it back around, we are in the middle of what I call festival season. Generally kicks off in the middle of
Have you been to some festivals
September.
Already?
I have been to a lot of festivals. It's
I've
always
been to
a good time.
Myself.
A lot of fall festivals, a lot of city street festivals this time of year. Every weekend, a lot of churches and schools and like I said, the cities and stuff like that. They're all having fall festivals of some sort. So
what's coming up?
This Saturday is Madison's Street Festival.
What time does it start?
It starts at 10 o'clock. Of course, people come out early. Most of us are all set up by 9 anyway. But the kids love it. There's a lot of stuff for the kids to do. There's vendors with people selling arts and crafts and so on and so forth. And
Food?
Food, yeah, there's always good
do they have
food
funnel
there.
cake?
They do usually have funnel cake.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you
and
like
fried
funnel cake,
Oreos,
come
which I
on.
still don't understand the physics of a fried Oreo. I mean, how does
Do
the
they batter,
chocolate?
they batter it up?
I guess, but I mean, I still don't know if you heat it to that extent, how the chocolate and everything just don't melt and disintegrate in it. But
It's encapsulated.
right. I better stay away from those though. So
So if you're looking for good food, good fun, good music, this weekend come out to Madison for the Street Fest.
Exactly.
And then do we have any more Street Fests?
Probably I think the Medan Lowe's will have their what they call Safety Day, which is like a touch a truck.
Okay.
But that's a big deal because they fly in the air.
Do you put this on the internet?
Sure, I share the stuff
Okay,
that they put out.
So check the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office Facebook page and as to keep up on these events, because we'll be at some of these events, and like I say, we have a good time too.
And there's some and there's some other ones obviously going around. Like I said, a lot of the schools and churches and stuff like that are having fall festivals too, and we'll continue to have that. But we'll transition here shortly
in November
into parade season.
Parade season. So we'll see Kevin, and we'll be out there with Santa Claus.
That's right. Well, we'll kick it off with Veterans Day parades. We're generally in several of those.
That's right.
And then it seems like I think the weekend after Veterans Day is the Reedsville Christmas Parade there on a Sunday. I think it's the 18th. It starts at 3, and then from there on out it starts
through December.
Absolutely. With the Christmas parade. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you can't find something to do on the weekends, you're not looking.
So if you're looking for some fun and you live around Rockingham County or you live in Rockingham County,
we've got it going on.
Go to these festivals because you're going to meet so many nice people, and you're going to see some of the equipment and you're going to meet some of our deputies and our staff that, you know, a lot of times you don't get, they're behind the scenes, and we try to get them out so they can talk to the citizens, let them know what we do to protect and serve our citizens.
Right. You know, it's one of the parts that I enjoy most about my job is getting out and meeting the public under those circumstances, because a lot of times when people meet a deputy, it may not be their best day. You know, whether they've fallen victim to a crime or they're trying to commit one, they're not always glad that we're having to be there. But when I get to interact with them at the festivals and stuff like that, it is a good day. They get to see us as human and part of the community.
People need to remember this. You just said the community.
Part of the community.
Is part of the community. We are a part of, not apart from. Law enforcement, hey, we work for our citizens, but we are part of the community, and we're part of trying to help have a safer community for everyone.
Exactly. Now, before we get to Veterans Day, we're jumping the gun because we've still got Halloween coming up. And I've got here a few safety tips for Halloween.
Can I tell you something before
Go ahead.
Get it? This week, I was riding around the neighborhood, and I saw Michael Myers. Remember Michael Myers?
I do remember.
Are you old enough to remember Michael Myers?
Roy,
do you remember Michael Myers?
I do not want to tell my age, but I can remember the original. So
well, if you'll drive up Pierce Street at night, just look as you drive up on your left, and you'll see Michael Myers and others. But it's a gentleman that has music. It's electronic synchronized, and you park right there at the street and tune into the 95.7, I believe. You can listen to it. But when that song came on, that little piano song about Michael Myers going on,
yes,
that was pretty awesome. I had to take a picture and post that. That's pretty cool.
There are a lot of people that go all out for Halloween.
Oh man,
and I mean all out.
Well, being that Halloween is a fun time, I know a lot of churches will have the trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat, yeah. A lot of churches around the county will have that, and you just check social media. Generally, they have it posted. Various churches have it posted. The various events. I know with my son, since he was young, and my daughter too. She's a teenager now, so she's not as into the trunk or treating as she once was, but.
You still are.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. Free candy. What can I say? But we'll hit several churches that are having it on the same day, and he'll rack up there, and so.
Well, let me ask this. You know, with Halloween, which is a fun time, it should be a fun time where our kids, safety is a priority.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about safety.
All right, we're going to let's see here. A couple of basic safety tips when choosing a child's costume. Pick one with the bright colors, reflective tape, so that the children can be seen in low light. We have had incidents of trick-or-treaters being struck by vehicles and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that they're seen. Make sure that the costumes do not obstruct the vision. Now, I know that you and I are both old enough. Do you remember the old masks that you couldn't breathe out of? I know,
exactly.
Roy, you can jump in here too. I know you remember those old,
plastic masks,
the plastic masks.
Couldn't see anything.
You couldn't see anything. You couldn't breathe in them. So luckily we're past that. We've been able to advance past that. Thank God for technology. But make sure that there's always an adult present so that the younger trick-or-treaters can make sure that the older kids are with them if the adults can't be.
Go to neighborhoods you're familiar with.
Go to neighborhoods you're familiar with. Avoid taking homemade treats. You don't know what might be in it.
Exactly.
Always inspect the candy before eating it. Now this is the part that my daughter always had a problem with, because anytime I would get near her candy, she would get very defensive about it. And I know you've seen the picture of her in my office when she was a kid, where she's laid out, sprawled across the candy, refusing to allow me near it.
Hopefully you'll see candy that's packaged and
you
not
want to see
broken.
it packaged.
If you find candy that's broken on seal,
exactly,
discard it.
Exactly, but always inspect the candy. That's very important. Make sure it hadn't been tampered with. Always carry a flashlight. Make sure that you're able to see where you're walking at night. Make sure it's well lit if you don't have a flashlight. Only approach homes that are brightly lit. Don't ever enter a stranger's house. If they invite you inside, don't go inside. Always check the sex offender registry before you go trick-or-treating, and do not go to those houses. Generally, that would be frowned upon as far as the sex offender registry goes, because they shouldn't have any interaction for the most part with kids. Do not text and drive. Obviously, this could cause a wreck or to strike a trick-or-treater. Go slow. And if you're wearing costumes while you're driving, make sure that you're able to easily see or take the mask off.
Operate the controls.
Exactly.
When you said something about sex offender, if you have any questions about sex offenders registry, where persons are located in residential, all you have to do is go to the SBI site.
You can just put sex offender registry in the Google search bar, or you can go to our website. We have an easy link to it there, and that's nationwide, so you can pull up. You can see how many are living in areas near you, or as you're planning out trick-or-treating.
For safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And for their safety as much as the kids' safety, because we don't want them violating any parts of their probation.
And the probation, and during this time also, probation officers are out and about too.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're planning on staying inside and handing out candy, then you should keep your porch and driveway clear of any tripping hazards.
And well lighted.
Well lit. Let's see. Don't hand out unopened or don't hand out any open candy or homemade treats. Use battery powered candles if you're going to use candles as props instead of real ones, to avoid fire hazards inside of jack-o'-lanterns and your house. Make sure your pets are restrained. Don't want any accidental bites going on or scratches. And secure any outdoor decorations properly so that nothing falls on anybody or anything like that. So those are a few of the tips there for trick-or-treating as they're coming up.
So it'll be a fun time, but we want
everybody to be safe.
That's it. We want it to be a safe time.
Exactly.
So, and also, like I said, I want to reiterate: check with your local churches, because there'll be trunk or treat programs all over.
And I've always found that was the easiest way to hit a couple of areas, a couple of churches close together. And like I said, my son loves it. So,
Kim, what else you got? What else we got?
Let's see. Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is comprised of a civilian board here in Rockingham County. We've talked about it before.
You're on it?
Yes, and what Crime Stoppers does, there's a tip line. You can remain anonymous, 336-349-9683. People with information about crimes can call the tip line and give that information. They will remain anonymous. They'll be assigned a number.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
If you know something about a crime, call Crime Stoppers, because it keeps you anonymous, and you could receive a reward up to
now $5,000.
$5,000, up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest of a person. and involved in criminal activity. But definitely, if you want to remain anonymous, call our 24/7 number, which is
336-349-9683.
Hadn't changed, the same number, and someone will be there to answer that call 24/7.
Right, and you do remain anonymous. We actually pay extra, I think, to make sure that there's no caller ID.
That's right.
They just assign you a number, and that's what your tipster number is, and
that's
how
the
you're
best
identified.
advice I can tell you. If you know someone who's running around involved in criminal activity, or someone who's wanted and dangerous out there and stuff, all you have to do is call Crime Stoppers, provide the information. You can receive up to $5,000.
Yeah, and it really does help law enforcement to solve
absolutely.
some tips.
Well,
I think they just recovered a side-by-side.
Exactly, and
a
a
newer model,
subject involved in a bunch of break-ins and thefts. Got him last
Crime
week.
Stoppers
Got it. Crime Stopper got him.
Exactly. So, I mean, with that, do you have anything else to add here?
I would just say that in this time in our country, we just need to. I want to go back to just be vigilant. If you see something that doesn't look right in your neighborhood or in your community, if you see something, say something. Let's help us prevent problems in our communities. Let's help us work to help our children so they have a great future here. And let's make sure that we always think about safety and caring about one another.
Exactly. And as far as all of the festivals and parades and so on and so forth, we try to keep that information out to the public. So check our website, check our social media site. We're going to share as much of that as we can, and there's a lot of fun things coming up. So
anything dealing with the sheriff's office, if you have a question, just go to our website.
RockinghamSheriff.com.
RockinghamSheriff.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the different areas. If you have a question about carry concealed permits or any other type of information, how to. Just go to our website. We've got a lot.
And if you can't find the answer on the website, there's information as far as who to call or who to email to where we can get you the answer.
Last thing. If you're interested in a career in law enforcement or detention, if you'll contact the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, 336-634-3232, they can point you in the right direction. If you want
check
to
out our website,
check our website,
on there to apply. Yeah.
Or you give Kevin a call.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Give me a call.
Yeah, we are looking for people, and we are hiring. And
we're looking for great people to work in Rockingham County to help protect and serve our citizens.
That's right, and it's a very fulfilling career. So,
well, I'm good.
All right. Well, we thank you for tuning in to our October 2023 edition of Sheriff Spotlight. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.